Hi, welcome, and thank you for joining. My name is Mila, and today we are going to talk about writing the introduction paragraph for your academic essay. So, of course, before we can start talking about writing writing a paragraph, we need to look at what is an essay. So it's a little bit of review. I do have a longer course about all of this on Udemy called ACU Academic Writing, but this is just a very quick review before we launch into the introduction paragraph itself. So the definition of an essay is a non-fiction academic writing or piece of writing that is created to develop a specific idea or support an argument. So the main points here to keep in mind is that academic writing or an essay provides information, it shares a point of view, or it disputes a thesis statement. So somebody else's thesis statement that you disagree with, and you write about that and you give evidence to support your point of view. So when you're providing information in an essay, it doesn't necessarily give a point of view. Often it does come through, but you're not always supposed to show it. At any rate, it's one of those are the main reasons that you're going to write an essay. Then, depending on the purpose of the writing, your essay can be formal or informal. And we do look at that a little bit more later on. Most essays are formal or semi-formal, academic essays, and you'll be able to tell that from the type of essay and from why you are writing this essay. Is it an assignment for university or for school or for an English proficiency test? And that's going to determine what the tone is, how formal it is. And then all essays have different formatting requirements in length and in style. And that really depends on, again, why are you writing this essay? The formatting requirements will often be given in the prompt with the topic or in the rubric that you've been given for scoring the essay. Or if it's just a standard essay, then you as long as you know which kind of citation or referencing style you're following, you can Google it. Okay, that's some basics about an essay. Now the essay structure. This diagram on the left-hand side is a standard 5-paragraph essay. And this is the essay that you will most commonly write. It can be much longer. It's usually not shorter, but can be up to dissertation level, and then I guess it's no longer an essay. Okay, so we start with the introduction. Introduction is the one that's there in the red oval, and this is what we're looking at in this video and also in the next series, I think 4 or 5 videos that come after this one. We're going to look at each part of your introduction. As you can see on the right-hand side, the introduction has a hook, connecting sentences, thesis statement, and optional, not always, but sometimes signposting sentences or signposting sentence. We will look at all of those in turn in my other videos. Okay, so the purpose of the introduction is to catch the reader's attention, and it gives the main idea. These are the most important functions of your introduction, and your introduction is the most important part of your essay, and there, arguably, your thesis statement, the last or the second to last sentence in your introduction is probably your most important sentence in your whole essay. Okay, so this particular course focuses on the introduction, but of course, it's not a standalone thing. Your introduction has to connect to your body and to the conclusion. We will look at those in later courses, but the body, every point in your body will relate to your introduction, and your conclusion is almost kind of a mirror image of your introduction. So if you get the introduction right, then the rest of the essay becomes easier, although you'll probably draft your body first. Okay, on the right-hand side, the breakdown there of the different parts of the essay, I put it on this slide, so when you come back to it, it's easy to just refer to it again. the three body paragraphs we've got there, topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, there's a first point and then evidence. Now, evidence can be citations or example or whatever you want to use as evidence to support to support the point. The second point is in italic. It's like this because you don't always have a second point in every body paragraph of your essay. You will have the first point. You always have one main point. You may have another sub point. You might even have more than that, but then it starts being a very long paragraph. Okay, so that is the important parts to take away from this particular slide. Now, the introduction itself, definition and purpose or purposes. The definition of your introduction paragraph is the first paragraph of when we're talking about a standard 5-paragraph essay, which is the kind of essay you're going to write for school assignment, university assignment, proficiency test, whatever, the sort of standard essay requirements. But you might be working on a master's degree, or you might be working on a longer essay for your university. When you're writing a longer essay, your introduction could be 2 or 3 paragraphs. So what happens is you're just taking that same content and then expanding on it. So let me go back one slide to show you what I mean. If you're writing a longer essay, where you have in the right-hand side, we've got at the top the introduction, hook, connecting sentences, thesis statement, signposting sentence, or signposting sentences in this case, you will just expand all of those and you're going to end up with 2 or 3 paragraphs, but the content is more or less the same as it would be for a shorter paragraph, a shorter essay. The purpose of your introduction, catch the reader's attention. That is super important. You want them to be interested in your essay and read it. Encourage your reader to read the whole essay. So you want to catch their attention, and then you want to show them that the whole essay is interesting. They should finish the whole thing. And this is where your thesis statement is going to come in. And then you also use your introduction to prepare the reader for what's coming and kind of to show them your point of view as well, if you have one, if it's an essay where you have a point of view. So you prepare them for what's happening in your essay. Okay. Now, the parts of your introduction, sorry. Your first sentence is your hook. We also call it the attention grabber. And this is like a fish hook. Think about a fish hook, a fisherman catching a fish. This is to catch the attention of your reader or your potential reader. So you want it to be interesting and not too long, and something that's going to make them think, oh, okay, hang on, this looks like an interesting essay. So the hook in this example is cavemen used to do it, and so have countless others since, sometimes on an alley wall or on someone else's property. When you're looking at that sentence, are you wondering what's this about? You might have seen if there was an essay heading, as there should be, you may already have an idea what this is going to be about, but maybe you're not 100% sure. So this is interesting, right? It does look interesting. And this is a hook that is it's an interesting observation or a statement. And that's what they've used here. Then next, you're going to have your general or your connecting sentences or topic sentences. And these are the sentences that connect the hook to the thesis statement. Now, I'm not going to read through this. We don't have a lot of time, so just you can read through this on your own. But the important thing to look at here is that your hook will connect to the thesis statement. The thesis statement will be the last or the second to last sentence of your introduction paragraph in a 5-paragraph essay. So the thesis statement here, the thesis statement is what is the purpose of your essay? What are you writing about? What are you trying to do? The thesis statement here, whether street art is a commissioned mural or an art of defiance by a young talent, graffiti art is indeed art, its beauty lying in the eyes of the beholder no differently than that of a canvas in a museum or on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. So you can now see how the hook and the thesis statement are connecting to each other. So you can see, the hook, cavemen used to do it, so have others. Sometimes it's on a wall. We are talking about graffiti or mural art on walls. Got it. And from your thesis statement, you can also tell what is coming next. So what is the point of view of this person that wrote it, and what are they going to talk about in the body paragraphs of the essay? The connecting sentences bring us from that hook in a sort of a logical progression to the thesis statement. So the connecting sentences give us a little bit of background to understand the thesis statement. Now, you can also have signposting in an introduction paragraph. Signposting is very important. There's a whole video about it a little bit later on in the course. And signposting is when you explain to your reader what's coming. So what are you going to talk about first, and then next, and then next? So if it's a 5-paragraph essay, what is in the first paragraph? What's in the second paragraph? What's in the third paragraph? What you have here in this example is that your thesis statement kind of already contains the points that the person is going to write about in the body. So you don't want to double up on that. So sometimes you'll have a signposting sentence. In a longer essay, you will always have signposting, usually several sentences, because you're talking about longer parts. But in a 5-paragraph essay, you can have a signposting sentence unless you've added into your connecting sentences or your thesis statement what you're writing about next in the body, and then you don't need the signposting or the transition sentence. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Something else that's important to remember here is that you always work from general to specific. So think about a triangle in your conclusion. Your essay body also works this way. But so you start with quite a general hook, and then you narrow it down. You zoom in your focus to get to that thesis statement. Okay. Now, when you're writing your introduction, it's counterintuitive, but you don't start by writing your hook and then writing the topics, the connecting sentences, and then writing the thesis statement, and then writing the body paragraphs. When you're writing your introduction, and we'll talk about when you write the introduction, but when you're writing the introduction, you will start with your thesis statement. In fact, you already should have a thesis statement drafted because you needed to figure out what your topic is. So you start with a thesis statement. Then you're going to write the hook, because your thesis statement and your hook kind of have to have the same idea, the same general topic. It's got to connect. And then you write the connecting sentences. How do you connect your thesis statement and your hook and your thesis statement? How are you connecting them? That information is the connecting sentences. So you write that third. And then if you need signposting, if you need to tell your reader what's happening in the essay, then you write your signposting sentence. So when do you write your introduction? I always tell my students, wait, do not write the introduction first. But before you start writing anything, there are some things that you need to be sure about. 3 main things. What's the topic of your essay? And this seems very logical, but often when you're working on the essay, you're going to start thinking, hang on, am I really on the right topic? When you're doing a proficiency test in English, like IELTS or TOEIC or TOPIK or one of those, the thing that loses you the most points is if you go off topic. You always have to stick to the topic. So make sure you know what your topic is. If your topic has a kind of an aspect, like you're talking about technology, but a specific part of technology, like social media, then make sure that you focus on social media in that bigger topic. Don't get sidetracked by something else. You need to figure out what is the tone of your essay, and that is the scale of formality. Now, an easy way to remember this is to look at that picture where we have men in various outfits that shows from casual wear all the way to extremely formal wear. And of course, we don't dress that formal anymore, occasionally, right? But yeah. So an essay is the same. How formal is your essay? That depends on the type of essay, on the rubric that you've got for it, what the purpose is of your essay. Most academic essays are going to be formal to maybe semi-formal. It also depends British essay writing, if you're writing for a British university or school, it's going to be a little bit more formal than American. So you have to take all of these things into account, and that will determine the tone of your essay. How formal does it have to be? Then you need to know the type of essay, and this is going to be given to you in your topic, but you might need to figure it out. It might not say write an argumentative essay or write a persuasive essay about blah, blah, blah. It might say, which do you think is better, Facebook or Instagram, right? And then that you have to figure out, okay, I've got to compare two things. This is a comparison essay, and it asks me what I think is better. So there's an opinion here, which means it's persuasive or argumentative essay. You've got to figure out the type of essay that you're writing, because it has an impact on whether you're using citations, whether you're giving opinions, and even the tone of your essay. Okay. For example, there are 4 main types of essays. A narrative essay, which tells a story, is a lot less formal and a lot more like creative writing than, for example, a persuasive or an expository essay. Expository essay can be very formal because it is giving information. So you don't have an opinion. You're not supposed to have an opinion. You're just supposed to give information. So it becomes a very formal academic essay. Persuasive is where you have to show a point of view. So it's maybe a little bit less formal because there's a bit more of your voice in that essay, even though it still has to be academic in tone. Okay, I hope that all makes sense. So we've looked at the steps when you're writing the introduction. But now, when do you write the introduction? You don't start with writing your introduction. You should start by drafting the body paragraphs of your essay. So you've chosen your topic, you've done some brainstorming, you've outlined your essay, and now you're going to draft the body paragraphs so that you know what is in your essay. And then once you have a really clear idea what's in your essay, then you write the introduction. And when you write the introduction, you start with the thesis statement, which you probably already have drafted because you know what you wanted to write about. And then you do the hook, and then you do the connecting sentences. Once you've drafted the body paragraphs, you've drafted your introduction, you can write your conclusion, because your conclusion is a kind of a mirror image of your introduction. It's very similar to the introduction, just flipped about. So you write the conclusion last because you can really just base it on what's in your introduction. Okay, the reason we write the introduction second and not first is because when you're writing an essay or a paper or a report or an analysis, whatever it is, as you write, often you will find more research or you will change your mind. And then that shows up in your body paragraphs. So your introduction is telling your reader what's in your body paragraph. So you want to make sure you know what's in your body before you write the introduction. Now, after you've written your introduction, here's a little checklist that you can check if you wrote a good introduction. Did you introduce the topic with the necessary background information? So did you create a context? Those are the connecting sentences. Did you define any important terms? Some essays have technical terminology or a term that is not clear in meaning. It's open to some interpretation. So you want to define, for the purposes of your paper, a term like that, a word like that. So you may need to have a definition or a conceptualization of a specific word that is critical in your essay, in your introduction. Does your thesis statement clearly present your main point or your argument? So from your thesis statement, can your reader tell what is your stance or your opinion about this topic? Okay, and then, is everything in your introduction relevant to the main body of the essay? So in your thesis statement or in your signposting or even in your connecting sentences, if you mention like 3 points, are those 3 points in the main body of the essay? And are they in the right order? So most important to least important, or most general to least general, to most specific. If it's in the introduction and it's not in the body, you've messed up. And if it's in the body and it's not in the introduction, take it out of the body. It doesn't need to be there, or add it into the introduction. But your introduction tells us about what's in the body of the essay, so it's got to be in both places. And then, is your first sentence engaging and relevant? So your hook, is it interesting enough to catch the reader's attention? And is it relevant to the audience that you are putting this paper in front of? So you want to know who's going to read my paper, and then you've got to make sure that that first sentence targets those people and that it'll catch their attention. And that's your little checklist for the introduction. Okay, thank you for listening. This video is a little bit longer than some of the others, but hopefully it's given you a kind of a broad idea of the introduction and where it fits into the essay. If you have any questions or any suggestions, or you need to have a paper checked or have some feedback done on any document, please email me. My email is on the slide at the bottom. And thank you for listening. And I hope to catch you with my next video. Take care. Bye.